Baik, para hadirin yang terhormat, mohon perhatiannya karena sebentar lagi akan dimulai, sekitar 3 menit. Sebelumnya perkenalkan, saya Andita yang akan menjadi MC pada acara hari ini. Terima kasih. Sebentar lagi akan dimulai sekitar 3 menit. Sebelumnya perkenalkan, saya Andita yang akan menjadi MC pada acara ini.
Udah ada semua nih, Bu Rektor yang belum ya?
Mencoba membatalkan ini. Kenapa? Karena ini kalau dibatalkan berbahaya. Akan terjadi perang saudara. Jangan pun itu, Pak. Kasus Ahok ini saja. Ini coba Bapak lihat di televisi. Tadi malam di Yogyakarta terusuk.
Selamat siang. Bu, mohon maaf.
Siang, Bu.
Mohon maaf terlambat karena internetnya drop tiba-tiba. Aduh, mohon maaf semuanya. Silahkan.
Selamat datang, Ibu Rektor.
Datang, terima kasih. Mohon maaf. Selamat join.
Iya, tidak apa-apa, Bu. Terima kasih sudah hadir, Bu. Baik, hadirin sekalian. Harap perhatiannya karena acara akan segera mulai. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat siang dan salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu. Yang terhormat Rektor UPN Veteran Jakarta, Ibu Dr. Erna Hernawati, AKCPMA CA. Yang kami hormati para warek dan segenap pimpinan Universitas dan Fakultas UPN Veteran Jakarta. Yang kami hormati Bapak Dr. Bambang Susanto MA sebagai Direktur German Center UPN Veteran Jakarta. Yang kami hormati moderator yaitu Ibu Cindy Yulia Putri SPD MSI. Yang kami hormati pembicara satu yaitu Mr. Profesor Dr. Jan van der Putten dari Universitas Hamburg, Jerman. Yang kami hormati pembicara dua yaitu Mr. Diplom Engineer Beni Sutrisno sebagai Wakil Ketua Kadin Pusat. Yang kami hormati pembicara tiga yaitu Mr. Frank Saifullah, Mr. Engineer dari GIZ. Yang kami hormati para dosen dan staf UPN Veteran Jakarta. Beserta segenap hadirin yang berbahagia, saya ucapkan selamat datang di Soft Launching German Center yang mengangkat tema German Center sebagai mitra pengembangan iptek dan peluang kerjasama. Pertama-tama marilah kita panjatkan puji dan syukur hadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa. Atas segala nikmat dan karunia-Nya kita dapat hadir pada acara ini secara virtual. Hadirin yang kami hormati, perkenankan saya memperkenalkan diri, saya Andita Julianti dari UKM MC UPN Veteran Jakarta akan memandu acara pada siang ini. Izinkan saya membacakan susunan acara yang antara lain sebagai berikut. Pertama, pembukaan, menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya, menyanyikan lagu Mars Bela Negara, pemutaran film dokumenter, penyampaian informasi mengenai German Center UPN Veteran Jakarta, sambutan dari Rektor UPN Veteran Jakarta, pemaparan dari pembicara 1, 2, dan 3, yang masing-masing pemaparan selama 15 hingga 20 menit, sesi tanya jawab, dan penutup. Hadirin yang berbahagia, sebelum kita ke acara inti, marilah kita berdoa bersama-sama, agar acara yang kita selenggarakan pada hari ini dapat berjalan dengan baik, tanpa adanya halangan sedikit pun. Berdoa berdasarkan agama dan kepercayaan masing-masing, dimulai. Berdoa selesai. Selanjutnya, mari kita mengikuti dan mendengarkan pemutaran video lagu Indonesia Raya dan lagu Mars Bela Negara secara bersama-sama. Mari kita mulai. Baik, terima kasih. Dan kami juga ucapkan selamat datang dan terima kasih yang telah bergabung kepada Kadin, Forsiladi atau Forum Silaturahmi Dokter Indonesia, Asosiasi Ilmu Hubungan Internasional Indonesia, Sivitas Akademika dari UPN Yogyakarta, UPN Surabaya, Universitas Pajajaran, UIN Banten, UIN Jakarta, Unsri, Universitas Bung Hatta, Unikom, Unpas, Universitas Jenderal Ahmad Yani, Unmul Samarinda, Universitas Tanjung Pura Pontianak, dan Unbrau Malang. Hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya mari kita simak pemutaran video dokumenter yang akan diputarkan. Berikut adalah videonya.
Kalau saya sarankan, kalau saya
Kayaknya jelek.
saya laksanakan apa
Kayaknya
yang
bagus nih.
dahulu saya laksanakan. Cuma lebih baik saya dari sekarang. Karena saya tidak perlu cepat naik sepeda karena takut ketutup library. Tidak tutup library, boleh buku, ada buku itu saya lihat masuk berapa uang, apa bayar gila. Gak bisa bayar. It's a different situation. Mengalami dibesarkan di tanah air, dicemplungkan di Eropa, yang nggak pernah dapat beasiswa, nggak pernah dibayar sendiri orang tua. Yang beasiswa keren, pakai paspor biru. Saya waktu itu satu-satunya paspornya hijau, karena saya warga negara biasa. Bukan karena saya bodoh, karena orang tua saya tidak mau anaknya dibiayai oleh orang lain. Bukan karena orang tua saya kaya, tidak. Ibu saya buat catering, dia buat beli rumah, ada 3, dia bangun kos, 3 kamar, dibiayai anaknya dan dia ajukan permohonan pada pemerintah untuk bisa membeli valuta asing. Dan valuta asing itu waktu itu tidak seperti sekarang bisa beli siapa orang bisa enggak. Kalau yang beasiswa itu dapat masukannya dari pemerintah, jadi yang memberikan adalah kedutaan besar Republik Indonesia. Saya dapat dari Deutsche Bank. Jadi bank itu baru saja belum ada internet. Kalau dia transfer uang itu tidak pakai internet, belum ada fax. Jadi kadang-kadang uang saya belum sampai, saya hisap jari. Nah, saya keadaannya begitu, dibesarkan, tapi mungkin harus begitu. Jadi mandiri, bisa menghadapi semua sendiri. Dan sebelumnya itu memang ya sudah dididik bahwa mendapat informasi yang sebanyak mungkin yang dia butuhkan untuk menghadapi masalah-masalah yang sedang dihadapi. Masalah kehidupan, masalah teknologi. Dan yang saya paling nikmati waktu itu, saya bisa kemana? Ya ke perpustakaan. Perpustakaan terbuka sampai jam 12 malam. Jadi saya ke situ. Pertama kalau winter itu perpustakaannya itu panas. Sedangkan saya uangnya tidak tepat datang, jadi saya nggak untuk menjadi in the cost di asrama mahasiswa aja terlalu mahal saya. Jadi saya gimana? Di pinggir kota, ya murah, tidak ada kamar mandi. Saya tinggal di situ karena murah. Dari tempat sekolah, di mana saya tinggal ke sekolah, saya jalan kaki. Tidak pakai bus terlalu mahal. Jadi saya jalan kaki. Waktu jalan kaki, ya atau saya panjatkan doa, atau saya pikir mengenai semua yang saya hadapi dan yang sedang saya tekuni. Dan dalam ritmus keadaan begitu saya berkembang. saya berkembang dan kadang-kadang uang belum datang nggak bisa makan. Jadi saya kadang-kadang lihat aja orang makan enak banget dia di situ, tapi saya enggak iri. It's okay. Jadi apa? Saya dalam keadaan keroncong tidak berisi perutnya, saya masuk ke perpustakaan paling banter apel ada situ, saya baca, saya nikmati dari semua informasi. Oke, kuliah pakai laptop, saya lihat aja wajar kuliah ini. Saya pergi kuliah. Dia kuliah saya dengar. Saya dengar itu untuk menjawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang saya hadapi. Itu pilihan saya dan ada juga karena memang harus saya belajar karena saya bagian konstruksi pesawat terbang. Jadi itu ritmesnya. Nah, ritmesnya kadang-kadang saya ya itu yang jaga. Anak ini gila nggak dari pagi dia datang tiba-tiba waktu makan dia ada di situ dia baca. Dia pergi saya pergi kuliah tentunya. Sore-sore ada lagi anaknya situ sampai jauh malam. Kok gak dimakan? Kata gak makan. Ada orang Jerman yang kasihan. Enak, kamu gak makan ya? Enggak, udah. Dia bilang gitu. Kamu udah makan? Udah, saya malu mengatakan saya lapar. Karena itu saya dapat TBC. Saya dapat tuberkulosis. Umur 21. Tapi umur 21 saya selesai S1. Jadi saya selesaikan semua. Tapi saya dapat tuberkulosis. That is a different story. Dalam saya ceritakan mengenai diri saya sendiri. Karena Anda tanya bagaimana Rudia umur 17 tahun. Saya jawab, that's my life.
Indonesia ingin agar pendidikan vokasi, training vokasi bisa diberikan bantuan dari Jerman. Fokus kami berada pada vocational training dan vocational school.
Baik, terima kasih. Setelah menyimak film dokumenter yang luar biasa tadi dari Bapak B.J. Habibie dan Bapak Joko Widodo, sebelumnya kami juga ingin ucapkan selamat datang dan terima kasih telah bergabung kepada GIZ, SES, DAAD, Ekonit, GUTE, IASI, AIPC, Diaspora Indonesia dan Indonesianis di Jerman, para alumni Jerman, International Women Circle Hamburg, MUI, Pemda Jabar, Sumbar, DKI, Pemda Kodia Bandung dan Padang, Sivitas Akademis dari Hamburg University, Jacob University, Hochschule Bremen, Göttingen University, Diaspora Indonesia di Hamburg, Bremen, Braunschweig, Hannover, dan Berlin. Selanjutnya, mari kita dengarkan informasi mengenai German Center UPN Veteran Jakarta yang akan disampaikan oleh Bapak Dr. Bambang Susanto, MA, sebagai Direktur German Center UPN Veteran Jakarta. Beliau juga merupakan Konjen Hamburg, Jerman periode 2018 sampai 2020, yang saat ini merupakan salah satu pengajar di Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik di UPN Veteran Jakarta. Maka dari itu, kita sambut dengan hormat Bapak Dr. Bambang Susanto, MA, kami silakan.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk Indonesia dan Guten Morgen untuk yang berada di Jerman. Yang terhormat Ibu Rektor Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta beserta Bapak Wakil Rektor, Bapak Wakil Rektor 1, Bapak Wakil Rektor 2, dan Ibu Rektor Wakil Rektor 3 UPN Jakarta. Bapak, Ibu, para dekan dan Sivitas Akademika UPN Jakarta, tentunya para pembicara, Pak Profesor Jan van der Putten, Pak Dieping Benning Sutrisno, dan Pak Frank Stadmuller. Bapak, Ibu, dan saudara-saudari sekalian. Pada kesempatan yang baik ini, saya menyampaikan ucapan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada Bu Rektor dan jajarannya yang telah memberikan dukungan pendirian German Center UPN Veteran Jakarta pada saat ini. Terima kasih atas kesediaan para pembicara yang telah berkenan memenuhi undangan dan sekaligus menyampaikan materi pada acara soft launching German Center UPN pada kali ini. Satu kebanggaan bagi kami bahwa soft launching German Center ini dapat dilaksanakan pada hari ini yang dihadiri oleh berbagai kalangan baik dari Jerman maupun Indonesia. Latar belakang salah satu yang mendorong upaya pendirian German Center ini adalah betapa besarnya sumber daya dan peluang yang dapat dikerjasamakan antara Indonesia dan Jerman. Hubungan pemerintahan dan masyarakat kedua negara sangat baik. Sejak tahun 1956, Presiden pertama Republik Indonesia Soekarno telah bertemu dengan pimpinan pemerintahan Jerman, dilanjutkan oleh para pemimpin Indonesia selanjutnya, yaitu tentunya kita kenal Bapak Profesor Dr. B.J. Habibie yang tadi kita telah saksikan bersama-sama, filmnya sangat menarik. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, terakhir adalah tentunya Bapak Presiden Joko Widodo mengunjungi Jerman tahun 2016. Bertemu dengan Presiden maupun Perdana Menteri Jerman, di mana telah membuahkan satu Memorandum of Understanding yang intinya adalah terkait dengan kitanya perlu melakukan prioritas di dalam pembangunan Indonesia dengan Jerman dalam kerjasamanya, yaitu terkait dengan industri maritim, kemudian energi terbarukan, dan pendidikan, khususnya pendidikan vokasi. Penggarisbawahi dari pernyataan di atas, maka pengembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi merupakan salah satu prioritas dalam penguatan hubungan kerjasama Jerman dan Indonesia. Banyak diaspora Indonesia di Jerman dan para alumni Jerman di Indonesia merupakan aset yang tak terhingga di dalam mencapai tujuan tersebut. Selain itu, keberadaan sejumlah lembaga Jerman di Indonesia seperti GIZ, SES, DAAD, Ekonit, dan Goethe Institut di satu pihak, dan lembaga diaspora Indonesia dan Indonesianis, serta DIG di Jerman, yaitu seperti IASI, AIPSE, PCNU, SWC, serta IIC, serta lainnya menambah semakin akan memperkokoh Jerman Center dalam mencapai tujuannya, yaitu Jerman Center sebagai mitra pengembangan iptek dan peluang kerjasama guna mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa dan memajukan kesejahteraan umum sesuai dengan alinea keempat Undang-Undang Dasar 45. Dalam program kerjanya di tahun 2001, Jerman Center akan memfasilitasi pengajaran bahasa Inggris, berbagai diskusi, seminar, simposium yang bersifat tematik baik di bidang kesehatan, teknologi, sosial, ekonomi, perdagangan, kemaritiman, vokasi, lingkungan hidup, demokrasi, dan lain sebagainya. Sesuai dengan kebutuhan masyarakat yang dilaksanakan baik secara online atau offline, atau kombinasi antara offline dan online sekaligus, di mana mungkin nanti setelah wabah itu telah berakhir, kita akan lakukan dengan offline. Perkenalan kami memakai sedikit bahasa Jerman. Guten Tag in Jakarta, Guten Morgen in Deutschland. Meine Damen und Herren, bei dieser günstigen Gelegenheit möchte ich der Frau Rektorin sowie der MitarbeiterInnen, die das German Center UPN unterstützt haben, meinen Dank aussprechen. Vielen Dank für die Bereitschaft der Referenten, die sich bereit erklärt haben, die Einladung mit der interessanten Präsentation bei der Eröffnung des German Center UPN anzunehmen. Es ist uns eine Ehre, dass heute das sogenannte Soft Launching des German Center oder Deutschen Zentrum stattfinden kann, an den Personen und Gruppen unserer zeitlichen Institutionen aus Deutschland und Indonesien teilnehmen können. Einer der Gründe eines deutschen Zentrums hier einzurichten sind die enormen Ressourcen und Möglichkeiten für die Zusammenarbeit zwischen Indonesien und Deutschland, die schon vorhanden sind. Die Beziehung zwischen Regierungen beider Länder ist sehr gut, gesellschaftlich und wirtschaftlich. Seit 1956 hat sich der erste Präsident der Republik Indonesien Soekarno mit der Führung der deutschen Regierung getroffen, gefolgt von nachfolgenden indonesischen Präsidenten. Darüber hinaus hat Herr Professor Habibie, der drei Präsident der Republik Indonesien, verbrachte Zypern einen Großteil sein Leben in Deutschland. Sich Wissen anzueignen, schließlich besuchte Präsident Joko Widodo 2016 und 2017 Deutschland mit Realisierung von Zusammenarbeit den Bereichen Schifffahrt, Ernährung, Energie und Bildung, berufliche Ausbildung. Wie aus der obligen Erklärung hervorgeht, ist die Entwicklung von Wissenschaft und Technologie eine der Prioritäten bei der Stärkung der Zusammenarbeit zwischen Indonesia und Deutschland. Als Programm von German Center 2021 setzen das Berufsweg Discussion, Seminar und thematische Symposium in der Bereichen Gesundheit, Technologie, Sozialwirtschaft und Handel, Stepfahrt, Beruf, Umwelt, Demokratie. Jenah Bedarf werden die Persangtungen in Online oder Mogleisweise Hybrid, Online und Offline gleichzeitig gestalten. Mit diesen kurzen Informationen von German Center UPN hoffe ich sehr, dass dieser Soft Launching ein starker Meilenstein für die Umsetzung der nächsten Aktivitäten und natürlich der nächsten Eröffnung sein. Vielen Dank. Wassalamualaikum. Guten Tag.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Dr. Bambang Susanto, MA, atas sambutan dan informasi yang telah disampaikan. Hadirin yang terhormat, acara selanjutnya adalah sambutan Rektor UPN Veteran Jakarta. Dengan hormat, mari kita sambut Ibu Dr. Erna Hernawati, AK CPMA CA. Kepada Ibu Rektor, kami silakan.
Terima kasih Mbak Andita. Ini saya mohon maaf, saya sampaikan dalam bahasa Indonesia ya Pak Bambang ya. Nanti tolong ditranslate ke dalam bahasa Jerman oleh Pak Bambang. Baik, yang saya hormati Profesor Dr. Van der Putten dari Universitas Hamburg, Bapak Beni Sutrisno, Wakil Ketua Kadin, Mr. Frank Stegmuller dari GIZ, lalu di sini saya tadi mendengar banyak teman-teman dari perguruan tinggi lain selamat yang mengikuti kegiatan ini, para teman-teman dari UPN Veteran Jakarta dan Bapak Ibu hadirin semua, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Guten Morgen juga untuk kalau di Jerman ya, selamat siang, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Alhamdulillah ketika kami mendapatkan teman baru Pak Bambang ini selesai menjadi konjen, dan alhamdulillah ini kami UPN Veteran Jakarta, beliau berkenan untuk bergabung dengan UPN Veteran Jakarta menjadi dosen tetap, dan ini adalah dalam waktu singkat Pak Bambang sudah meluncing, soft launching untuk Jerman Center ini untuk UPN Veteran Jakarta. Jadi sekali lagi selamat datang Pak Bambang, terima kasih, dan mudah-mudahan bahwa Jerman Center ini juga bisa memberikan manfaat kepada teman-teman perguruan tinggi lainnya. Dan ini mungkin juga tadi sudah ditayangkan video ya, video dari Pak Habibie almarhum, lalu juga Presiden Pak Jokowi juga sudah kerjasama dengan Jerman, artinya keberadaan Jerman Center ini tentunya merupakan turunan dari kerjasama yang sudah dirintis oleh beliau-beliau. Nah, mudah-mudahan bahwa kita semua dari hasil kerjasama dengan Jerman ini yang sudah terbina cukup lama semenjak Profesor Dr. B.J. Habibie, nah, ini kita bisa lanjutkan dengan kegiatan-kegiatan untuk seluruh perguruan tinggi. Nah, barangkali keberadaan dari Jerman Center ini sangat dibutuhkan ya ketika kita di dalam perguruan tinggi ini sekarang menuntut untuk lulusan kita itu memiliki daya saingnya tidak hanya domestik di Indonesia, tetapi juga harus sudah memiliki daya saing tingkat global. Nah, salah satunya adalah dengan keberadaan dari Jerman Center ini, saya kira saya berharap bisa banyak hal-hal yang kita bisa lakukan, kolaborasi bersama di dalam negeri dengan perguruan tinggi tadi dari teman-teman yang hadir pada saat ini, juga nanti kita bisa difasilitasi dengan kegiatan-kegiatan yang insya Allah memberikan manfaat kepada mahasiswa khususnya yang menjadi target utama kita, dan tentunya juga para dosen. Nah, sekali lagi terima kasih kepada seluruh narasumber, Prof. Yan, terima kasih Pak Beni Sutrisno dan Bapak Frank Stegmuller juga untuk mengisi kegiatan ini. Mudah-mudahan kita bisa segera bertemu kalau COVID sudah selesai untuk hadir di UPN Veteran Jakarta mengunjungi Jerman Center UPN Veteran Jakarta, dan Bapak Ibu mudah-mudahan UPN Veteran Jakarta juga bisa segera membuka center-center negara-negara lain selanjutnya. Demikian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Boleh saya izin translate, Ibu? Ya, boleh ya. Okay, hallo, guten Tag für Sie in Indonesien und auch morgen für Sie in Deutschland. Ich bin Cindy Julia Putri, Dozentin in International Relationsprogramm in Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta. Also, ich bin auch Alumni der AAD. Ich habe auch Stipendium von der AAD im Jahr 2013 bekommen, in Berlin zu lernen. Und wir haben auch 2 Videos geschaut und eigentlich diese Zusammenarbeit zwischen Indonesien und Deutschland, speziell German Center oder Deutsches Zentrum hier dringend erforderlich, da die Universitäten in Indonesien ihre Wettbewerbsfähigkeit auf globaler Ebene steigern. Und wir werden auch diese Aktivitäten von Deutschem Zentrum erleichtern und wir hoffen, diese Zusammenarbeit ist nützlich für jeden Mann hier. Saya pikir cukup, saya kembalikan dulu ke Andita. Dankeschön.
Baik, terima kasih kepada Ibu Dr. Erna Hernawati AK-CPM-ACA atas sambutannya, dan terima kasih juga kepada Ibu Cindy Yulia Putri SPD MSI yang telah menerjemahkan. Hadirin yang berbahagia, selanjutnya mari kita mendokumentasikan acara ini. Maka dari itu, semua partisipan diharapkan untuk mengaktifkan kameranya untuk berfoto bersama-sama. Baik, marilah kita pose bela negara seperti ini. Selama 10 detik. Ya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Terima kasih. Hadirin yang berbahagia, mari kita masuk ke acara inti, yaitu pemaparan dari para pembicara yang akan dipimpin oleh moderator, yaitu Ibu Cindy Yulia Putri, SPD MSI. Sebelumnya izinkan saya memperkenalkan beliau. Beliau merupakan dosen di Program Studi Hubungan Internasional Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik UPN Veteran Jakarta, sekaligus mengajar bahasa Jerman di program studi tersebut. Beliau juga merupakan alumni dari beasiswa di AAD. Maka dari itu, mari kita sambut Ibu Cindy Yulia Putri, SPD MSI. Kami silahkan.
Terima kasih, Andita. Thank you very much. Danke, Andita. Guten Tag einmal, ja, guten Tag für Damen und Herren hier in Indonesien und auch guten Morgen für Sie in Deutschland. Ich bin Cindy Yulia Putri, Dozentin in International Relationsprogramm in Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cindy Yulia Putri, lecturer in International Relations Program at Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta. It is an honor for me to be moderator for this event of launching German Center, collaboration between UPN Veteran Jakarta and Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit oder GIZ. I will use English here actually, and a little bit Bahasa and German if needed. Yeah. So our structure of this event is all speakers give presentation, and then question and answer session, and the last section is conclusion. So our first speaker is Professor Jan van der Putten from Abteilung für Sprachen und Kulturen Südostasiens, Hamburg Universität. And I will read briefly his curriculum vitae. He teaches on Southeast Asian literature. He teaches on Southeast Asian literatures and cultures. He is affiliated with the Center for the Study of Manuscript Cultures in Hamburg Universität, where he leads several projects, and he is one of the primary investigators of the digital repositories of endangered and affected manuscripts in Southeast Asia program funded by Arcadia. So I give the opportunity for Professor Jan van der Putten for presentation, and you have 15 till 20 minutes for presentation, and time and place are welcome. Bitte schön, Professor.
Dankeschön, Cindy.
Danke.
Selamat siang kepada semua, salam sejahtera kepada kita semua, Ibu Rektor yang saya hormati, ibu-ibu dan bapak-bapak yang saya hormati juga. Saya terima kasih, pertama-tama saya berterima kasih kepada Bapak Bambang untuk undangan ini, untuk kehormatan ini yang saya senangi untuk membantu mengadakan soft launch sebuah center German Indonesia Center di UPN. Jadi, so I think I need to go to English so that everybody can speak or can understand me without some translation. So everybody, good morning, good afternoon. I see that there's a new culture coming that everybody needs to have masks also in front of the computer. So, okay, I won't do that, but what I will do is share my screen and show you a few slides with something. Most of it is figures that I put together, and I hope it will work. Although I don't know. I hope you can see my the slideshow, and I don't know if it's two or how many screens you see. Is it one or two?
Just one.
And now?
Yeah, good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So, so I will, like I said, I will talk you through a few slides about the German Indonesian Educational Cooperation. And before I start, just the current situation of Indonesia. Indonesia is in transition, which basically is every country, but it's perhaps in Indonesia, it's more like a planned market-based economy going to agriculture, or from an agricultural economy to an industrialized economy, centralized administration to decentralized. That is very well known and a great success most of the time in Indonesia. We also know very much, of course, that it has an authoritarian past, and it now is lauded everywhere as the biggest democratic Islamic state in the Islamic democracy in the world. One thing that is interesting and we have to keep in mind is that 45% of the population is under 25 years old, which is a great opportunity for Indonesia, but also a great burden because these need education. These young people need education and trained, and of course that is why we're here. We are all at the university training this type of this age group between 18, 25, and a little bit older, perhaps. So this is the target group that we have. And it's huge in Indonesia. In Indonesia, however, the overall education is problematic, although much progress is made since the new president, and even before, of course. But still, there's a low quality, lacking early child education, low quality basic education, and all kinds of insufficient and inefficient senior, secondary, and vocational education. So what I show here is a report from the OECD 2015, which enumerates quite a few lacks of the educational system in Indonesia. Which I won't spell out everything. I mean, this is parts of the what do you call that? summary that you have, executive summary in front of it, in front of a report that is 340 or 50 page long. So it's a good basic report about the education, the state of education in 2015. And like I said, there has been huge progress in Indonesia, although there's still some things lacking. One of the things is that what I already said is that the early education is quite is still lacking. What you see here, over 50% of the Indonesian 50 years old do not master basic skills in reading and mathematics, which is a huge problem, of course, if your nation wants to go ahead in the world and wants to develop. Teaching needs to be professionalized. You need all kinds of evaluation. You need teaching, training of the teachers, which is constantly, and they need to be evaluated. There needs to be, and that is of course well known in Indonesia and also by Jokowi. That's why it's he's focusing on vocational training. But this idea that you teach students for economy and to go into business needs to be improved. This synergy between businesses and education needs to be improved. And what I want to show next is how, or one of the systems Germany is famous for, namely its vocational system. Yeah, so what also is vital, of course, is that you need many students who will sit through the whole secondary education and even have a follow-up in other maybe the academia or other training institutes. So the Germany, like I said, is famous for its vocational training system. Per year or yearly, no, per year, or in total is 1.3 million apprentices positions that there are in Germany, of which 500,000 follow dual track vocational training to a skilled profession every year. So this is yearly, 500,000 of a total of positions, places of 1.3 million. This two-track vocational system, there are two components: classroom study in specialized trades schools and supervised on-the-job work experience. I think that this is well known. Over the course of 2 to 4 years, apprentices spend a couple of days a week or even blocks of several weeks at a time at a Berufsschule for the theoretical knowledge for their occupation of choice. At the same time, they have a position in a company or public sector institution to gain practical knowledge and hands-on experience. Normally, the ratio between these positions is 60-40, so 60 in school and 40% in the or the other way around, 40% in the classroom, 60% in companies. So if you look at the results of this system, then you see that more than 30% of all pupils graduating from a secondary school, so there's different tracks, but 1/3 of all the pupils, they follow a vocational trainings program. And of these 30% of this group, 1/3 only in classrooms, and 2/3 follow the system that I just said. So this dual track training system. From this group, there is about 68% of the graduates. They enter the workforce in the company where they were trained immediately after training. So it's a great system to bring companies and students together, pupils together. Like I said, already more than 500 positions are available for these apprentices across all the sectors of economy and public administration. If you look at the total number of German workers, there are 51% are skilled workers trained through this system. Another 11% of the workers are master craftsmen, so they've gone on from this. So more than 60% of your skilled working force in Germany has gone through a system like this, which is, of course, it's what you want. A great rate and great success. And if you look at how many companies are part of this throughout Germany, is 430,000, and most of them are big companies, and 80% of the big companies they are in this system. So this is about the vocational system, and like I said, it's well known, of course, but just giving some numbers. If we look at the sorry, if we look at the university education in Indonesia, yes, it needs upgrading and rapid internationalization to get into line with and compete with ASEAN countries and the world. If we look at the public institutions, there's almost in the DAAD report of 2020, which I used, there are 394 public institutions, so universities and academias, of which UI, Universitas Indonesia, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Institut Teknologi Bandung, IPB in Bogor, and a few others, which are the top universities in Indonesia. But if you look at the ranking, international ranking, they are at the lower end of this ranking. Interestingly, there's about 400 public institutions, but there are over 4,000 private institutions, which means that there are many private institutions which with the accreditation is difficult. So keep on quality. What is also interesting is that 50% of the total number of students in Indonesia go to public institutions because they have high quality and they are cheaper most of the time. Private institutions, as we all know, is a second choice for Indonesians. Subjects are taught, subjects are taught according to disciplines in big groups in traditional teaching methodology, which is also, not only in Indonesia, also Germany, you see this, but it's one thing that universities need to guard against. We need to innovate the teaching. And one of the things that we have in university, in the academia at the time, is that more and more inter and multidisciplinary programs are taught, in which environment, economy, the social science, and human geography and other studies are combined in one program. So I said something about the DAAD report of 2020. I took some numbers just to sketch a general idea. So if you look at total number of registered students in Indonesia, it's 8 million in 2019. In Germany, it was almost 3 million. And of course, the numbers are the total population of Indonesia is 3.5 times as much as in Germany. So that is that's not strange. But if we look at the gross enrollment ratio, which is the number of the degree of participation in tertiary education by students, then it's 36 in Indonesia and 70, so double in Germany. So that is something that needs improved, and yeah, it shows, of course, how big the participation of Indonesians in tertiary education is. Within the universities, if we look at how many finish BA and MA programs, and most of it will be BA, both in Germany and Indonesia, although in Indonesia, in Germany, there will be more, relatively more MA than BAs. But if you look at the total number, then it's 1 million in Indonesia and 388,000 in Germany. If we look then at the PhDs, strangely enough, 5,000 in Indonesia in 2019. In Germany, it is 27,000. So there's much more within the university. In Germany, there will be more people going on the whole track of BA, MA, and PhD, whereas in Indonesia, there's a tendency to break off after BA, which is something to think about. I'm not too keen, and we are not too keen on ranking, international ranking here in Germany, but it is one interesting number that it shows very clearly. So these are three from the Times, what is it called? Times Higher Education, something index or something. I took Oxford University, University of Hamburg, and Universitas Airlangga in Surabaya, which are basically comparable. If you look at how many students they have, 20,000 in Oxford, 30 in Germany, in Hamburg, and almost 30 in 29 in Surabaya. The rate students per staff in Oxford, it's fine, 11, wonderful. In Airlangga, it's fine. In Hamburg, it's crazy. It's almost 60 per students per staff, and I can't imagine how that is in medicine here in Hamburg, because we are very lucky. We are a very small program, but Wirtschaft and BWL, VWL, that must be crazy. Anyway, what I wanted to look at is a percentage of international students, because that is something we are talking about here. Oxford, 41% of the total number of students is international. University of Hamburg is 12%, and it's growing because internationalization of the studies is something that is becoming more and more important, also to get more income, etc. Universitas Airlangga, which is like I said, it's comparable probably with others. UI will be and UGM probably will be more, but it's telling, of course, that it's only 1%. Yeah, and being from the University of Hamburg, I just wanted to introduce a little bit about the background of the university. Established in 1919, consists of 8 faculties. It has about 30,000 students every year. 30,000 people work there. It's more administration than it is teaching staff, but yeah, and it's ranking average in the different world ranking system, 100 plus or something. Also in Germany, it's not the top university because these are München, these Heidelberg and Berlin. But it's a well-funded and founded university with good quality. In Hamburg, there's 70 bachelor programs and 95 master programs. This is what I said, right? The difference between Indonesia and Germany, the tertiary system. There's more and more. There's a growing tendency to diversify in master programs and to specialize more there. It's Hamburg University is a city university. It's in the center of the city, and it's funded by the city state, and yeah, it's spread around the city. And 2 years ago, of Hamburg, we were successful in obtaining 4 grants from the central government to build on 4 clusters of excellence. And the last one, Understanding Written Artifacts, is the new Center for the Study of Manuscript Cultures. So it was built and expanded. So going on about the internationalization, which is a growing importance. Indonesia has 0.1% of foreign students studying in Indonesia. Most of them come from Timor-Leste, which is not a big country. Malaysia, Thailand, India, and China. Germany is number 19 in this state. If you look at Indonesian students going abroad and where do they study, so in numbers, percentage is 0.6%, which is very low. In Germany, it's almost 4%, which is also not well. Okay, that's better. If we look at where do students in Indonesia go for studies abroad, it's first Australia, US, Malaysia, UK, Japan, and then Germany is number 6. So it's an important country for Indonesian students to go to. And there are quite a few corporations already there, but of course we can always expand. So if you look at the winter semester 2018 and 19, there were 5,158 students, Indonesian students, registered at universities in Germany. About 53% of these 5,000 plus students were in engineering programs, 21% of this total in economic, social science and law programs, 11 in natural science programs, and 5 in humanities, and another 5% in medicine. So this is a picture. So it's about 5,000 students in a few years ago, and it's growing, I would say. In total, there are 151 German-Indonesian university partnerships. One One that I a few years encountered in Bali is Wismar University, which is a small university in the northeast of Germany at the Baltic Sea, which has cooperation and running programs with the ITS, Institut Teknologi 11 apa November atau Maret, saya kurang tahu. Pokoknya in Surabaya, they also running. It's about marine technology, etc. etc. They're also running a program in Semarang. So they are very active with this internationalization, and it's a technical program. So yeah, so that is one program that has been running for quite some years already. IPB Bogor, the well-known and good university in Bogor, agrarian sciences, is working together for a long-term project also in with the University of Göttingen. Then there's a new and rather new program with the Universitas Samratulangi in Manado, with the University in Bonn, and also with the Center for Marine Research in Bremen, to establish an international master in the program of coral reef biodiversity and conservation. So a very interesting project going on there. So there are all kinds of different programs going on. What the attraction is for of Germany for Indonesian students. First of all, there are 14 Indonesian universities that are offering Germanistik, and UPN in Jakarta is one of them, or will be one of them. In these 14 universities, there are 3,450 students that who were registered, so we're doing these German studies. They are well known, of course, has an office in Jakarta in Senayan since 1990. And if you look at so that there is an attraction, of course, as we know, of Germany for Indonesian students, which can be developed and should be fostered. If we look at the figures of how satisfied and how international students view their stay in Germany, then 73% of the total of international students this year or last year or something. It's a very recent questionnaire that they had. 73% are very content, very satisfied. 66% of the international students feel welcome. 81% feel secure. So from that side, it's very good to in Germany for international students. They feel secure, they feel at home, and are satisfied with their what they do. On average, they have 776 euro to spend per month, and they don't get everything through scholarships, but they need to do jobs. So it's quite normal in Germany also for German students who study while working. So you have to grapple very much with time. Of this, I think 75% of this half of the international students, 75%, they need to do a job, otherwise they wouldn't come by. On average, also they pay €275 a month for the rent, so they have 500 to spend on other stuff. The biggest problems that they encounter are finding a room and getting by. So getting by with the economic pressures, but not anything of security or satisfaction with their stay in Germany. What we also have in Germany at German universities and also in German cities is that there are welcome centers of universities and cities who have all kinds of services that they extend to international students. So they help with visa applications, they help with finding rooms, they help with looking for courses, German courses, etc. So there's a whole industry, more or less, to welcome and attract international students to study at German universities. So there's a huge potential here, I think, and that is one of the reasons why setting up a German center at the UPTN in Jakarta is, I think, a very welcome initiative, which with this I would like to compliment and puji Pak Bambang with this initiative, and maybe I should stop here by thanking you for your attention, and hopefully we can discuss later about the content. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Dankeschön. Thank you for your presentation here. And now I will give opportunity to our second speaker, Bapak Diplom Engineer Beni Sutrisno, as Vice Chairman of Chambers of Commerce and Industry of Indonesia. He finished his education in RWTH Aachen, Deutschland. He is textile industry entrepreneur, and he will discuss about economic situation in pandemic COVID-19. Time and place are welcome. Silakan, Bapak.
Terima kasih, Ibu Cindy Yulia Putri. Mohon maaf presentasi saya ini pakai bahasa Indonesia karena tidak ada instruksi dari Pak Bambang. Saya terima kasih diundang Pak Bambang, ini kawan lama saya. Dan mungkin salam buat Pak Prof. Jan Putten yang mengerti bahasa Indonesia dengan baik. Dan Herr Frank Stegermuller sini dari GIZ. Ini yang suka membantu kita. Kebetulan saya juga running di Perhimpunan Alumni Jerman. Jadi saya terima kasih nih Pak Bambang mendirikan Jerman Center. Coba saya nanti bisa kerjasama Pak dengan alumni. Coba ya saya advance sharing ya. Di mana sharingnya nih? Sorry. Maaf, agak.
Share screen, Bang.
Di bawah,
ya,
Pak. Share
screen.
screen.
Share. Oke.
Oke, Pak.
Oke, bisa dilihat ya semua ya. Jadi mungkin Mbak Cindy nanti bantu saya sedikit. Jadi ini saya dipaksa oleh Pak Bambang. Saya ini sebenarnya bukan ekonom, saya engineer di elektro. Tapi karena saya pengusaha, maka saya bergaulnya sama para pengusaha dan tentu mengerti dan merasakan betul apa akibat pandemi ini. Ya, jadi pandemi ini memang menggoncang semua permintaan ya, khususnya dengan ada PSBB, PPKM itu akan menutup atau mengecilkan permintaan, dan ini akan mengganggu rantai pasok seluruh industri. Tentu karena tidak ada permintaan, industrinya tidak akan membuat barangnya. Kalau tidak membuat barangnya, tentu ada yang utilisasi mesinnya itu turun. Jadi waktu Maret 2020, Maret-April, utilisasi mesin industri itu tinggal 40% paling tinggi, kecuali industri kesehatan sama industri telekomunikasi dan pengangkutan tentu yang paling terkena paling banyak sekali. Nah, pada hari ini pertumbuhan ekonomi global itu turun, yang tadinya pertumbuhannya global itu 2,8%, 2020 jadi minus 35% konstruksi. Ya, perdagangan dunia juga turun. Kita bisa lihat di slide ini pertumbuhan ekonomi dunia itu minus, ya, dan juga merchandise trade juga akan terganggu. Yang tadinya kita nyalakan yang hijau ini, tapi karena kejadian di 2020, maka ini akan terganggu seperti ini, seperti yang merah ini. Nah, tentu ini ada memberikan dampak ekonomi kepada seluruh negara. Ya, tentunya negara maju pun mengalami konstruksi yang lebih besar. Jerman juga tidak kecil minusnya. Kita bisa lihat di sebelah kanan. Jerman sendiri minusnya 5,4% di 2020. Kita Indonesia masih mending minus 2,2% kurang lebih, ya, minus 0,23% di tahun 2020. Jadi kita masih minusnya paling sedikit dibandingkan teman-teman di Eropa. Di Eropa, karena Eropa melakukan lockdown, sementara kita melakukan PSBB. Nah, itu PSBB juga sudah menjadikan ekonomi kita terpuruk ke bawah. Nah, slide selanjutnya ini ekonomi Indonesia, khusus Indonesia pada tahun 20. Ya, jadi pada waktu kita kuartal yang kedua di 2020 itu paling dalam, tapi kuartal ketiga dia naik sedikit, kuartal terakhir dia naik sedikit, sehingga masih tetap minus. Jadi terjadi konstruksi, atau kalau teori ekonomi makro, inilah dinamakan resesi. Sebelah kanan kita bisa lihat di antara negara-negara ASEAN, yang bisa seperti China hanya Vietnam. Vietnam tidak mengalami minus, yaitu seperti China. Dia tetap plus, tapi plusnya berkurang dari 7 menjadi 2,9. Sementara yang lain semua minus. Paling parah adalah Filipina. Kita masih cukup baik, 2,1 minusnya. Dibanding Singapura 5,8. Nah, ini akibatnya nanti tentu teman-teman yang ngerti ekonomi pembangunan, APBN kita akan minus neraca pembayarannya, dan itu akan membuatkan kita harus mencari hutang. Nah, ini dampak buruk pandemi ekonomi, itu berpengaruh terhadap seluruh sektor ekonomi, kecuali sektor informasi dan komunikasi, jasa kesehatan. Di sini ada hanya 7 dari 17 sektor yang masih dapat tumbuh. Ya, ini bisa kita lihat sebelah yang kanan. Kalau ke kiri ini minus, kalau ke kanan ini plus. Kita bisa lihat ini yang P masih plus, Q masih plus, P adalah jasa pendidikan, masih plus Pak, walaupun work from home atau belajar online, tapi masih ada yang mau sekolah. Ya, cucu saya aja bayarnya tidak kurang, sekolahnya tetap bayar 100%, walaupun tidak pernah ke sekolah. Jadi dari online saja. Jasa kesehatan apalagi, ya, itu pasti plus. Nah, tapi sektor yang lain itu minus semuanya. Nah, tentu saya akan menyorotin transaksi perdagangan luar negeri, ekspor itu dan impor. Ini yang tajam turunnya adalah impor. Sehingga kita mulai Maret tahun 2020 sampai kemarin Januari, kita selalu surplus, ekspor dikurangin impor, kita selalu plus. Karena plusnya, importasinya turun yang lebih dalam, karena permintaan dalam negerinya masih belum ada permintaan. Artinya daya belinya masih belum bisa naik, sehingga importasi bahan baku turun. Dari ekspansi pabrik untuk beli barang modal juga turun. Kalau konsumsi itu juga pasti turun. Nah, itu mengakibatkan ekspor kita, walaupun kita juga turun ekspor kita, tapi turunnya itu minus 2,6%, tapi kita surplus. Nah, akibat surplus ini, kenapa rupiah menguat? Karena kita cadangan devisanya makin bertambah. Nah, tapi hal ini kan tidak akan kita bisa terus-menerus. Harusnya kita surplus ekspor bukan dari permintaan dalam negerinya turun. Nah, lanjut, krisis COVID-19 itu menyebabkan jumlah pekerja formal berkurang sekitar 6 juta orang. Jadi ada yang dirumahkan dengan dibayar dengan aturan itu 50%, ada juga yang di PHK. Nah, ini adalah yang menyebabkan daya beli kita turun. Ya, kita lihat jumlah pekerjaan menurut status pekerjaan itu ini di dalam juta. Ini menurun semuanya. Sehingga yang terjadi tingkat penganggurannya juga naik. Ya, tadinya 5,23%, 2020 jadi 7,07%. Nah, ini akibatnya bansosnya naik. Nah, ini kita bisa lihat penurunan kegiatan ekonomi itu jumlah penduduk miskinnya juga tambah, ya. Jadi selama ini antara kota dan desa itu makin tadinya 2019 sudah cukup baik, 24,79 juta. September itu udah 27,55. Nah, kalau penduduk miskin itu makin bertambah, tentu ini relasinya terhadap keamanan dan bantuan sosialnya juga makin besar. Nah, sehingga APBN harus bertambah banyak untuk mensuplai bansos itu, walaupun bansosnya juga dikorupsi juga. Nah, ini saya mau trade ekonomi outlook tahun 2021 untuk Indonesia. Dari IMF memperkirakan pertumbuhan ekonomi dunia akan meningkat dari minus 35 jadi 5,5%. Ini optimis sekali. Sementara Indonesia hanya tumbuh sampai 4,8 atau 5%. Nah, Bank Indonesia sendiri memperkirakan 4,8 sampai 5,8%. Nah, ini bisa kita lihat pertumbuhan ekonomi dunia yang ya rata-rata mungkin Uni Eropa sekitar 4,2, ya. Jadi yang paling besar adalah India 11%, Cina masih 8,1%, Indonesia 4,8%. Nah, selanjutnya saya ingin lihat proyeksi pertumbuhan 2021 mencakup memang sangat menggembirakan, tapi masih diliputi pesimis, ya, karena kita indeks keyakinan konsumen, indeks kondisi ekonomi saat ini masih rendah. Ya, kita bisa lihat nih indeks kondisi ekonomi yang merah dan indeks keyakinan konsumen ini yang agak biru dan indeks kegiatan usahanya juga masih di bawah. Nah, ini akibatnya ekonomi kita harus masih berjuang dan itu bisa diyakinkan confidence-nya bisa naik apabila vaksin telah dilaksanakan paling tidak 70% dari penduduk kita sudah tervaksinasi. Nah, sementara 70% itu sekitar hampir 200 juta penduduk. Nah, sementara kita banyak kepulauan sehingga distribusi vaksinnya juga cukup lama. Nah, sebagai penutup saya tidak jauh menjelaskan bahwa recovery ekonomi ini tergantung pada aktivitas kebijakan kesehatan dalam menangani pandemi. Ya, vaksin ini perkembangan jumlah kasus lebih terkendali akan meningkatkan optimisme konsumen di dunia usaha. Di tengah optimisme konsumen yang rendah, pertumbuhan ekonomi tidak mungkin, ya, kita masih harus mendorong. Nah, tinggal sekarang upaya mendorong ekspor yang harus ditingkatkan. Sementara ekspor kita banyak variatif produk yang bisa kita ekspor, yang di dunia lain mungkin memerlukan barang-barang kita, apakah itu agriculture, hortikultura maupun produk maritim, serta industri manufaktur berbasiskan sumber daya alam yang kita miliki. Saya kira saya akhiri. Terima kasih atas waktu untuk mendengarkan ini. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Beni. Izin saya übersetze sedikit ya.
Ya, übersetze sedikit deh.
Ich will ein bisschen übersetzen. Also die Covid-19-Pandemie verursachte einen wirtschaftlichen Rückgang in verschiedenen Ländern der Welt. Deutschland und Indonesien haben das auch erlebt. weniger formelle Arbeiter, weil sie entlassen werden. Dadurch sinkt die Kaufkraft und die Arbeitslosigkeit steigt und die Armen auch steigen. Und die Welt des Unternehmers ist immer noch pessimistisch, aber die wirtschaftliche Erholung hängt immer noch vom Ende von Covid-19 ab. Es ist zu hoffen, dass der Impfstoff wirksam sein kann und alles ist besser in der Futur. Dankeschön. Terima kasih Pak Beni atas presentasinya. Thank you so much for your presentation. Bitte schön. Danke. I turn to Herr Frank Steckmüller from GIZ, Deutsche Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit. Now he is a principal advisor in GIZ. And he will discuss about renewable energy, global trends, Germany's experience, and Indonesian opportunities. You also have 15 till 20 minutes for presentation. Bitte schön, Herr Frank Steckmüller.
Ya, terima kasih banyak, Mbak Yulia. Saya share screen dulu. Semoga ini bisa dilihat. Ini sudah full screen sekarang? Oke.
Ya, sudah.
Ya. Oke, pertama-tama saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih atas undangannya kepada Ibu Erna Hernawati dan Bapak Bambang Susanto yang terhormat, dan juga kepada semua staf dan mahasiswa di UPN Jakarta. Maaf, hari ini saya pilih bahasa Inggris untuk presentasinya, jadi saya akan switch ke bahasa Inggris. Hello everyone, hello University Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Jakarta, hello German Center. It's an honor for me to be here in the soft opening of the German Center at UPN Jakarta, and to be able to speak about the topic of technology, and to show you examples of successful German-Indonesian cooperation in the sector that might inspire you and ignite new ideas for the German Center at UPN. For this, I would like to invite you to the energy sector and talk about renewable energy, global trends, Germany's experience, and Indonesian opportunities. Oh ya, dan saya lupa memperkenalkan saya dulu. Nama saya Frank, dan saya bekerja sebagai Lead Private Sector Support dan Technology Cooperation di GIZ Indonesia di bidang energi terbarukan. So you might notice me standing in this photo in front of a PV system, a solar photovoltaic system, and block ice. And yes, this is already an example of a new technology and industry innovation that came out of an Indonesian-German technology cooperation, the solar ice maker. One of the first block ice made 100% greenhouse gas emission free from solar PV. And the technology that made this happen was already engineered and manufactured in Indonesia. Okay, but let's start first. Today I would like to present to you the current macroeconomic trends and what a transition means for an economic sector such as the energy sector, the German experience and what we can learn from it, hopefully, and the Indonesian perspective. What are the options now for Indonesia in the field of technology and applied research, and the opportunities for the German Center and the students at UPN Jakarta. First, a few words to GIZ. Who is GIZ? We are a BUMN German. We are state-owned by the German state, and we implement political agreements on cooperation. So the basis of our work is usually an agreement between two governments, and in our case, an agreement between the government of Indonesia and its responsible ministries and the government of Germany. And GIZ supports the implementation of such agreements and projects. At the moment, the Indonesian-German cooperation in the field focuses on the topics of energy and climate change, environmental protection, as well as economic development and technical vocational education and training, as we've seen in the intro videos. In Indonesia, GIZ collaborates and works with almost all ministries, and we are proud to be a partner and your partner. In my presentation today, I will focus on the collaboration that we have with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, ESDM, and its Directorate General, EBDKI. Okay, so all of our work in the energy field, I will go quickly through this, basically supports the achievement of national goals. We support, in this case, the achievement of the renewable energy target, 23% by 2025, that Indonesia wants to achieve. So 23% of the energy mix should come from renewable energies. And that basically leads to Indonesia's commitment to the Paris Agreement to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 29% or 41% with international support until 2030. And of course, all of that is linked to the SDGs. At the moment, we have 4 projects active here that GIZ implements, and we work in the field of policy advice, access to finance for renewables, but also very technical topics such as power system planning and operation, or technology cooperation that I will focus on in my presentation today. So let's dive into the topic after the introduction. Technologies, of course, always enable. Therefore, if we look at the topic of technology, we need to also look into the grand scheme and the wider global trends we are facing today. What are the macroeconomic changes of our time? And if we talk about change, we need to talk about today and we need to talk about tomorrow. But which tomorrow do we mean? There are many problems as it seems. It's a confusing world, ever-growing populations, urbanization, a global economic lockdown at the moment with COVID-19, popularism growing in politics, and then there's also climate change. So what can we do? It all looks very desperate and grim. How will our tomorrow look like? Is this something that we can influence? Do we have a choice? And if we have a choice, then let me rephrase it. How do we want our tomorrow to look like? And which tomorrow do we choose if we can? That's the question I would like to address, maybe to the faculty and the students of UPN. It all doesn't look so dark. So where there are problems, there are solutions. If we look at the larger global situation of our time, we can see that there are shifts happening. Climate change confronts us with the consequences of our action. And a new economic paradigm is on the horizon at the moment. We are still in the beginning, but we see, for example, the Paris Agreement with ratified political actions in many countries worldwide to limit temperature rise and mitigate the negative effects of climate change. We see that, for example, in the year 2018, already 65% of all power generation investments globally were renewable. For example, 260 of the most influential businesses decided to go 100% renewable until 2050. And even, for example, General Electric, a steam turbine manufacturer, will not longer build turbines for fossil power plants, but will focus on the new business of today, on renewable energy. So why are businesses reacting like this? They know that today and tomorrow is about a technological revolution. It's about renewable energy, and they don't want to wait, they want to grow. The world's largest single market, for example, the European Union, has decided to be climate neutral until 2050. Any businesses or foreign countries who want to export there might have to prove their low carbon footprint. So this will all materialize. The change is real. And as I said, change always brings opportunities. So I think we have to put on our green suit. Students of UPN, you will have a mission. And the German Center has come at the right time. Next. Oh, yeah. So let's dive in a little bit more technical. I hope I don't bore you. Let me show you what can happen in reality on the example of the German energy transition. What you can see in the background is the total installed power generation capacity in Germany. The top yellow bars that was growing very fast from the year 2000 on the left to until 2019 is solar energy, solar PV. The light green bars below it are wind power. And by today, Germany has a total installed capacity of 52 gigawatt peaks of solar PV. That is roughly double of the overall load of the Java power system, only from solar PV. We currently operate our grid with a 50% share of renewable energies already. And on a single day in 2018, when the demand was very low and a lot of wind was blowing, we were even running 100% on renewable energy for some time, without blackouts, without problems, but with a major difference to the time before the year 2000 that I will explain. Because you might ask, how can we ever reach 50 gigawatts of solar PV, so much? And how can we build this? Is this all huge solar systems? How can we ever start? And well, you can guess what was the average size of a solar PV system in the year 2000 in Germany. The size was only 4.2 kilowatt peak. So for the ones who are not so technical and not so don't know what this is a very small solar system. This is not big. This is the one that we have installed on our roofs, for example, in a normal residential house, even much smaller. So before the energy transition in Germany, we had 50,000 power generators. Now we have more than 1.8 million power generators in Germany and more than 1.6 million solar PV systems. So this brings us now to the core of what an energy transition actually is. It's a people's movement. Everyone is participating and everyone can generate electricity. So then the question is, who are these people then who generate electricity suddenly in Germany? In the year 2013, you can see that 47% of the total installed renewable energy was owned by private persons, communities and farmers in Germany, not by the big utilities. They saw the opportunity and invested. So it was not the big players, but it was the energy heroes, the Power Ranger of Germany who made this happen. But of course, there was also due to a political shift and some success factors like a stable regulatory framework, priority grid access, feed-in tariff. The bottom line, it was easy to get a loan for the investment. It was secure and stable investment. And as I said, nothing comes for free. Because of the huge participation, 21% of our household electricity tariff, we are paying actually for the energy transition, for renewables. That's not low, that's quite expensive. So are renewables a double-edged sword, or are they a powerful weapon for Indonesia as well? Let me tell you one thing. An energy transition today is much cheaper than the one that Germany did 20 years ago. Because Germany and other countries suddenly moved forward. It brought economies of scale to the market. The cost, for example, for solar PV is now 80% cheaper than 10 years ago and is sinking more every single year. And let's also not forget the civil aspects of an energy transition. Communities, private persons, everyone can become a part of this. And you see the photos on the top of the slides are from Indonesia. In Germany alone, we created 290,000 new full-time jobs from this new sector. China, who invested heavily in manufacturing, created 2.2 million new jobs by the year 2018, only from renewable energy. And isn't that what we all want? Isn't that what everyone wants? New jobs, investments, and economic growth that is future-proof. Indonesia, luckily, is in an even better situation than Germany. You are blessed with resources, and one in particular where we can only be jealous in Germany. And at the same time, you don't have to transition your power system from a fossil fuel one to a renewable energy one, but you can simply choose how do you want to go from here? How do you want to supply your future power demand, because it is still growing at high rates. So if we have a look at Indonesia, when we compare it with Germany, Indonesia is much, much larger. 5,000 kilometers from east to west. On the map, you can see the true size of Indonesia when laid over Europe without the Mercator projection. And at the same time, you're an island nation with more than the world's biggest island nation with more than 600 individual PLN operated power grids. That is a severe challenge and much more difficult to operate than our unified European power grid we have in Germany. But can you guess which resources you have available on every single square meter of the Indonesian archipelago? The sun, right. And you remember that Germany has 50 gigawatt peaks of solar power generation installed. Yet we have the same irradiation relatively than Alaska in Germany, which is a very cold place, as you know. And because you have much more sunshine here in Indonesia, you can get 30% more power out of each PV, solar energy module, than we can do in Germany. So in other terms, you have a discount of 30% on solar power. Now, how is that? And I'm quoting Dr. Rudolf Rauch here. If we take this by population and divide the total installed capacity of solar energy by 260 million people in Indonesia, you have so far only spent 3,000 rupiah per capita for solar PV in Indonesia. Spending another 30,000 rupiah, which is equivalent to 2 euros per person, will get you your first gigawatt of solar PV. So the question, can you afford it? I think you can, absolutely. So recognize the power of the sun. We all know, for example, that palm oil is a big driver of the economy in Indonesia and is a very important resource for Indonesia. That's very clear. We all know that. But how important is then solar energy when we compare it to palm oil, for example? So if you would use the same area, theoretically, for solar PV than for palm oil, you could cover about 90% of the global electricity demand. Can you imagine? It's available everywhere here in this beautiful country, on every single island. You don't need to transport anything. You don't need fuel, you don't need feedstock. So please recognize the power of the sun, students of UPN. Make use of all your resources. So when new major technological questions now arise, it is on you. How to charge electric vehicles, for example. You can see here, that's the load curve of West Java, with its biggest consumer being the city of Jakarta. And due to industry, the load curve has a typical dip during the lunchtime. If we, for example, install 3 gigawatts of solar PV and would become part of the generation mix here, the additional energy from solar PV during lunchtime would be enough to charge 300,000 electric vehicles per day. So it is possible. The question is, Which tomorrow do we choose? And this is the essential question for Indonesia. Your electricity demand will triple until 2030, and it will increase by 9-fold until 2050. You don't need to replace any existing generation. I think starting by today, you have the choice which power mix do you choose for the future to cover the future electricity demand or energy demand. So I think what lies ahead is, from my perspective, hop on the new technology train. New investments, long-term assets should not lose their value in the future. We have to keep in mind the global macroeconomic shifts from the first slides. Indonesia could become a global expert in decentralized power generation, which is the current global trend. You can make use of these global trends, such as electric vehicles, innovation, and new approaches. And I think now is the time to do that. We know Indonesia's electricity demand will grow. We know solar PV, wind power, biomass energy have come down drastically in costs, more than 70% for solar PV in the last 10 years. They all have very high potential growths in Indonesia and are currently in a very early phase of their development. And these sectors will then bring new jobs and high qualified jobs. If, for example, we have made a study, if, for example, Indonesia will implement and achieve its renewable energy target by 2025, this will result in 110,000 new full-time jobs only from solar PV, wind, and bioenergy, not looking at geothermal energy or hydro energy. And we need these for this, of course, we need high qualified people. And I think we need the students of UPN. So let me end with a positive message. I think renewables are the perfect opportunity for Indonesia to trigger new innovative business ideas. These are the ones, as an example, that we are currently, or we have implemented over the last 2-3 years at GIZ in cooperation with the Energy Ministry. These all create new markets and enable a new market economy. So I think this is just food for thought for the German Center. You can see, for example, electric boats, PV charging stations for these boats, payment system, digital payment system for mini grids, the solar ice maker that I said, a universal remote monitoring system, and the list goes on. Irrigation systems for the agricultural sector, PV cooling systems, and even a rooftop mapping for solar energy potentials using artificial intelligence and machine learning. To end, to give you another insight on what we do at GIZ, in the REAP project, for example, the Indonesian-German technical cooperation has already led to many successes. For example, just recently 330 power system planners and operators have been trained here in Indonesia. 4 power grids will expand their system with renewable energy technologies. And we usually invite all relevant players there, universities, scientists, technology providers, associations, public actors, and of course, the people of Indonesia. So in conclusion, I think 1,000 islands mean 1,000 opportunities. The central question you can ask yourself is, which tomorrow do we choose? And how do we use this opportunity to achieve excellence in the fields of science and technology? The power you need is shining from the sky every day. So may your own power that you own, solar energy, be with you, Universitas Pembangunan Nasional, and may the German Center become a facilitator in the field of cooperation for better tomorrow. Terima kasih banyak dari saya.
Dankeschön, Herr Steckmüller. Terima kasih banyak. Very interesting presentation, how renewable energy like solar energy works and how German do this to solve environment problem. And yeah, I like the last statement. Yeah, may the power of sun be with you, UPNVJ and German Center. More sunshine, more brighter for future. Yeah. Okay. I will open question and answer session. Bisa mungkin 2 sampai 3 orang penanya ya, 2 or 3 persons here. Please mention your name and the question in English if applicable, and hopefully 1 question for 1 speaker. Ya, saya persilahkan untuk peserta di sini, baik mahasiswa, dosen, boleh bertanya. Baik dari Jerman, von Deutschland auch, oder von Indonesian, ya, gleich.
Ya, saya mau tanya, boleh?
Oh, silakan Bapak Safrizal Akbar.
Ya, to Mr. Frank ya. Talking about this prospect is very good.
Yes.
Can you explain to me how is the financial model talking about this investment about this business? Thank you.
Financing is always an issue with renewables, the same as energy efficiency. So they have a special character. So you can see the energy is free. So we cannot charge the sun, we cannot charge the wind, we cannot charge the bioenergy. That's usually free and provided by nature. But we have to invest into the technology to harvest that energy. And that usually has always the same issue. We have high capital costs in the beginning, and then we have almost zero or very small operational costs during the next 20-25 years. So overall, it's a good investment, but we need financing options, for example, from banks or from the private sector to make it happen. So there are plenty of financing options already. They have been implemented in many countries. As you've seen in 2018, already 65% of the global investments in the energy sector was for renewable technologies. So there are solutions for solving that issue. And the bottom line is, over a span of, let's say, 10, 15, 20 years, renewable energy provide the least cost option. How is
in German model in German financing? Talking about the financing, can you explain?
Yes, so a success factor of the German energy transition, you have seen in the presentation, it was largely implemented by a lot of private investors. So many people just put solar systems on their rooftops. And the key was we had a feed-in tariff, which was guaranteed by the state. And we had a guarantee by the electricity supplier that they would take in that energy and feed it and connect it to the grid. So these were success factors, but we also paid a lot of money for it. That feed-in tariff was used by a lot of people, and that was very expensive, and that added to a high cost in the electricity tariff still today in Germany. And nowadays there are newer models. So there are auction systems. We can generally separate residential investments, which are small scale, which work best with a standard tool like a feed-in tariff, or bigger investments that are auctioned and where the subsidy of the public is very low.
How many percent cost of money in Germany? You know, in Indonesia, cost of money is too high. That's the problem, right?
You mean for loans?
Yeah, for loan. Yeah. Cost of money from the bank. Yeah, cost of money from the bank.
Yes, I think that's a topic by itself that always changes. At the moment, it's close to zero in Germany. If you put money on your bank account, you don't get any interest. And I think also banks ask for very low interest, under 2 or 3%. Indonesia is very much higher. Banks don't yet see this opportunity. So the tenures of the loans are very short, sometimes 5 years, and with high interest rates. I think that is I think that needs to change. So banks here need to learn that these are stable investments, because we can very much guarantee the sun that shines from the sky. It's easy to calculate. It's not much risk involved, and the technologies are known.
Yeah, that's the
but
problem.
I think that will come. It can come very fast. If
That's
we
the
look
big
for...
problem between Indonesia and Germany. Cost of money from the bank.
Sure. In Germany, we were lucky and had a state guarantee for these investments.
I think you can bring the money from Germany to come to Indonesia, right?
I think Indonesia has enough of that. I think that's not the problem. The money will be there.
The problem is the cost of the money, right?
Yes. But that can be arranged.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
sama-sama.
Ya, terima kasih Bapak. Ini ada dari Bapak Umar. Pertanyaannya, saya bacakan ya Pak Umar. Okay. This question is for Prof. Yan, for Professor Yan van der Putten. My name is Umar from Universitas Negeri Jakarta. I would like to share my opinion regarding the quality of education in Indonesia. There is significant improvement in terms of pupil participation in schooling due to the support from the central government to reduce the cost of education from elementary to senior high school. However, the government takes different policy directions for higher education, which give more attention to improve the quality of the service rather than expanding its access for people. One of the strategies is giving more incentive to do research and publish the result in scientific journals. My question is this a promising direction, or is it better to allocate the research funding to cover students' educational costs to increase higher education participation, especially for the lower to the middle income family? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Interesting questions. Yes, I know that there's a lot of improvement already, and especially in primary and secondary education. However, there's more room for improvement, of course. The whole professionalization of teaching should be improved. So more. If you look at the percentage of students in registered in programs in Indonesia, then I think it's about 40%. 40% of the total is going to these universities that train teachers, right, for education. And these need to be improved. This is one, I would say, one of the targets, and also evaluation and training on the job, etc. That might be improved. Now, for in the tertiary system, what I think about this incentive for university scholars to publish in international journals, basically it's good, but it should not be the new god for the academia in Indonesia, which it has become lately. These are big companies, outside companies like Elsevier and Routledge and others which dominate the market, which is a new market for you have to score otherwise all these rankings. Otherwise, you don't, get funding from the the government, etc. But it is too much, because what you see is that people do not care about the quality of the publication, but they hire other people to train or to write their articles, or write their books, or edit their books, or whatever, correct their books. and they pay for that, they invest for that, which is maybe a little bit less than what they get from the government. So it's too much of the dewa-dewakan angka-angka, right? It's too much looking at figures, and these are the goal. Figures are not the goal; it's a means. But you see that in every bureaucratic system, they lead a life of their own, which is no good. So basically, the incentive of giving people bonuses to push them to publish in international recognized journals is fine, but don't let that take over. More important goals is to develop the research and not so much get the funding from the government for your own bank account. So there should be a balance, and everything is should be in balance, right? If you only have that in place, then it's too much. So if you just to have an answer, a very simple answer to your question, it should be less maybe for incentive and more than to other parts of the education system. But like I said, it's a very complex whole, and it's not it doesn't work like, okay, we take more a little bit from there and invest it there, then everything is better. But yeah, okay, that is my answer.
Thank you, danke, Profesor. Dari Pak Umar masih ada pertanyaan ya. Ya, danke schön. Tapi untuk Bapak Bambang, nanti saya persilakan juga ada mahasiswa ya, ada di sini. Dari Pak Umar untuk Pak Bambang, pertanyaannya yaitu selama pandemi ini, universitas mengembangkan metode belajar jarak jauh melalui berbagai platform pembelajaran. Menurut Bapak, dengan mulai terbiasanya dosen dan mahasiswa menggunakan platform belajar dalam jaringan online ataupun daring, bisakah metode ini digunakan dengan lebih baik di masa yang akan datang sebagai bagian dari metode pembelajaran? Terima kasih, Pak.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Cindy. Saya pikir dengan situasi pandemi seperti ini justru merupakan satu hal yang baru dan lintas batas. Artinya bahwa pengajaran bukan hanya sekedar bisa dilakukan oleh secara tempat yang sama atau yang dekat, tetapi kita bisa menimba ilmu sebetulnya dari banyak pakar, termasuk spesialis yang memang kita tahu bahwa di negara mana sebetulnya mereka bisa kita ambil ilmu pengetahuannya. Jadi menurut saya German Center bisa menjadi mitra atau memediasi apabila memang nanti ada institusi atau perorangan yang menginginkan ada expert dari Jerman misalnya, karena memang kebetulan kita bekerja sama juga dengan Senior Expert and Service Jerman yang memang dibiayai oleh pemerintah Jerman, disubsidi maksud saya, selama memang itu institusi itu nirlaba dan negeri, mereka akan sangat mudah mengirimkan expertnya. Namun untuk situasi sekarang memang ada kendala bahwasanya belum ada keputusan mereka secara online. Tapi untuk GIZ sendiri, Deutsche Gesellschaft für international Zusammenarbeit, saya kira bisa kita lakukan. Makanya sekarang mungkin kerjasama antara German Center dengan UPN dan GIZ ini adalah salah satu cara yang memungkinkan kita bisa mengadakan sistem pengajaran jarak jauh ini. Saya pikir ini adalah merupakan satu semacam inovasi baru yang lebih memungkinkan kita bisa mengambil atau mendengarkan pakar-pakar tidak harus didatangkan. Jadi lebih efisien dan lebih efektif. Saya kira mungkin itu dari saya. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Bambang. Saya bacakan sedikit, ada pertanyaan dari mahasiswa
Boleh,
ya untuk
boleh saya,
boleh Pak,
maaf,
boleh Profesor,
ya
boleh.
maaf.
Bitteschön.
Ya salah satu seperti tadi Pak Benny juga sudah menyatakan bahwa yang masih menguntungkan itu pendidikan dan dalam krisis ini. Dan itu salah satu hal yang bisa kita ambil dari corona pandemic yang di seluruh dunia, in the whole, sorry, I should be talking in English. So what I think one of the things that we can take home from this whole idea or this whole pandemic is the internationalization of education through Zoom. What we are doing now is basic things that we do at the university now daily. We talk to the machine and we talk to students who are in all kinds of areas of this world. So this internationalization of our courses is going on. We have certain, I do certain courses that I do with people from Erlanga and from other universities. Now they can get into the classes. So and this is not the ideal, but it is going on. So this internationalization and jarak jauh, so from a distance, it is happening, and it's we at the University of Hamburg at our department, we are developing a course on a multidisciplinary course on plantations, which will look at the environment, at social history, etc. To which will be done. We are planning to do at least with people from UGM and other universities in Southeast Asia. So this is something what we see during this crisis now, which of course it was very slowly, and Germany was a little bit slower than America and other nations, but you see that it's speeding up, and it is very easy, it is successful, and it is something for the future that will stay. Thank you.
Just new way.
Ya, terima kasih Profesor. Dankeschön.
Just a little bit to Cindy, refer to our Minister for Education. I think the ministers say that the Indonesian have to build the campus merdeka, the free campus, with standard international standards. So that's why the curriculum we can adopt from other universities abroad. So what Pak Ian mentioned, this is really chance for any campus in Indonesia to cooperate with the international campus, those who have international standard. So I think this is the time for Indonesian for enhancing standard or quality university in other sector. So thank you. This is just additional information. Thank you, Bu Cindy.
Oke, thank you Pak Bambang. Ini ada dari mahasiswa, boleh saya bacakan dulu ya. Ada dari mahasiswa UPN, ada 2 pertanyaan. Yang pertama dari Muhammad Faris Nugroho. Guten Tag, my name is Muhammad Faris Nugroho. I want to ask a question to Mr. Frank Steckmüller, talking about renewable energy according to PLN, Perusahaan Listrik Negara in Indonesia. Some of problems, why it is hard to implement it. It is hard to implement because expensive price of renewable energy, PLN as single buyer for energy in Indonesia, and lack of demand for renewable energy from people. So that's why PLN still using PLN still using
fossil.
Fossil. PLN still using fossils like coal to supply energy in Indonesia. Based on that, which problem is the most challenging for now and the future? Remembering PLN focus plan right now is to provide electricity to every corner of Indonesia and no blackout. Dankeschön.
Sorry, the last question was, what is the best?
The last.
Before the end.
The same question? Oh, yeah.
Before the second to last sentence.
Question, yeah. Actually, why is it hard to file
okay.
and still using fossil fuel and like that?
Understood. No, of course. Yeah, we hear oftentimes it's an expensive price, but I would not agree to that because we have to see investment decisions in the long run. I mean, for example, if we invest in a coal power plant, normally that's an investment for 40 years. If we invest into photovoltaic power plants, these last for 25 years normally. So we have to see it over that time frame. We shouldn't make investments and only look at the first 5 years. In the long run, renewables are the least cost options at the moment. We have in many countries grid parity, which means we don't even need any subsidy anymore. There are the newest power plants in Germany, wind, solar, they run without subsidies at times. So I think it's especially true in Indonesia in the outer regions, outside of the Java-Bali grids, where power generation costs are often very high because they are still based on diesel. And then we're talking 20 to 30 US cents per kilowatt hour, where a solar system can, even in remote areas, when you say it's more expensive to ship it there, you are around 7 to 10 US cents. So we cannot say anymore this is too expensive. Of course, it's not. There are several factors why it's still difficult, and of course, one is the capacities. We have to learn first how to manage the power systems with renewables, but also there, I think other countries have shown we just do it. We just have to start, and then we will learn how we do that, and we will manage that, and I'm sure then Indonesia will become an expert country. Indonesia has the specialty with 600 or more individual power systems, island grids. So if Indonesia knows how to use renewables in these grids, then Indonesia is an expert country for decentralized power generation. So and PLN already knows how to operate these small grids with the power systems and how to project, for example, the demand side, and they switch the power system, shift it accordingly. It's the same with renewables. You just learn how you do it, and then PLN can. But the lack of demand for renewables, that is true in a way that it is not yet as much part of the public discussion. So in Germany, we saw, in Europe, we see there's a big public support for renewables. Many people want it, and they elect politicians who put that in their program. So the political parties say, we will use renewables as part of our political program, and they get elected. I think this still has to become more and more part of what people demand from their politician, what they ask for, and become more and more part of the public discussion.
Okay, thank you. Danke, Herr Steckmüller. Saya mau ke mahasiswa lagi, tapi sebelumnya ada dari Bapak Tambunan ya, Pak. Ya, saya persilahkan, Pak. Maaf, Bapak Franklin Tambunan.
Baik, terima kasih. Kedengaran suara saya?
Ya, kedengaran, Pak.
Baik. Saya akan berbahasa Jerman langsung ya. Tidak apa-apa?
Ja, bitteschön.
Ja, vielen Dank für diese Gelegenheit. Ich bin erfreut darüber, dass eine von den, der jetzt hier anwesend ist, wir kennen uns, aber ich kenne ihren Namen. Sie hat also diese Einladung mir mitgeteilt in eine Gruppe, wo wir gemeinsam sind in einer WA-Gruppe. So deshalb habe ich davon erfahren und freue mich, dass es endlich ein German Center in Jakarta gibt. Ich bin lange genug in Deutschland. Ich war 45 Jahre in Deutschland und jetzt seit circa 10 Jahren bin ich wieder in Jakarta, also in Bogor zurzeit. Ich wollte eigentlich direkt zu Herrn Steckmüller unterhalten. Darf ich, ja? ich habe also mit voller Interesse vorhin verfolgt, weil ich da ein bisschen mich engagiert habe in dieser Renewable Energie. Speziell, weil ich da vorhin ein kleines Bild gesehen habe, nämlich Electric Propulsion. Okay. Ich bin im Jahre 2016 der Indonesien Vertreter von Torqeedo, wenn Sie das schon mal gehört haben. Und Torqeedo ist der Nummer 1 auf der Welt überhaupt, wenn es um Electric Propulsion geht. Und ich habe Torqeedo hier seitdem vertreten. Leider, deswegen freue ich mich, dass ich hier also mit Ihnen so ein bisschen unterhalten kann und hoffentlich später auch, ja, was ich vorhin auch Ihnen persönlich geschrieben habe. Und zwar deshalb, wenn Sie mal etwas zurück erinnern, dass die Frau Susi, unser ehemals Ministerin, und hatte in 2016 einen großen Plan mit in die Welt geschickt, oder ich sage mal Indonesien allgemein, für 3000 Boote für die Fischer, sag ich mal, vergeben wollte. Und leider ist das nicht gut gelaufen. Ich war mit dabei, und zwar mit einem Thema, die wir hier laut gemacht haben, wo es heißt One-Day Fishing. One-Day Fishing. So. Und wir hatten seit 2016 mehrere Launching gemacht, und das letzte war in Mitteljava mit Gouverneur Ganja. Das war ganz groß da, und auch unser Team aus Deutschland war hier und wollte diese 3000 Fischerboote also mit unterstützen. Leider ist das nicht geworden, weil ich zwei Dinge gesehen habe, und zwar beidseitig. Die andere Seite ist, dass die Menschen hier, die sehr gern unser Boot kaufen will, und zwar hauptsächlich geht es darum für mich, die kleineren Fischer am Rand helfen wollen mit unseren Maschinen, die nicht so teuer ist im Grunde genommen, wenn man dann verstanden hat, was dahinter steckt. Aber die haben nicht das Geld, ja, die haben nicht das Geld, es zu kaufen. Und ich bin dann deshalb in diesem Programm, also dem nationalen Programm, dann eingestiegen, habe alles gemacht, habe alle möglichen Anforderungen und sogar sie nach Deutschland geschickt, nach Jürgen, um überhaupt das ganze System zu verstehen. Leider, die haben es nicht verstanden, die sind nur dahin gereist und naja, ne, Sie kennen das. Und leider kamen sie zurück nach Indonesien, haben also bis heute nichts als nur zwei Maschinen gekauft. Und ich bin total sauer. Weil, warum bin ich total sauer? Ich wollte die Menschen hier helfen mit dem System, was Deutschland an Electric Power mit Solarenergie, die ich hier vermittelt habe, und alle wollen haben, die Fischer, und können nicht kaufen. Ich habe alle möglichen Versuche gemacht, wie sie an Geldern rankommen, auch mit den Banken unterhalten und geht nicht. So, meine Frage letztlich geht dahin, weil ich da vorhin die Boote gesehen habe. Was kann GIZ hier helfen? Damit wir diese Fischerboote, die Fischer, sag ich mal, an Mann bringen können, die Boote an Mann bringen können, weil sie wollen es haben. Vor allem, es ist nicht nur, dass was ich so sehr gut finde, ist, dass die Fischer, ne? Ich meine, Sie können sich daran entsinnen in Deutschland. Ich habe Fisch dort gegessen und gekauft bei Aldi und sah, was dahinter steckt, und das kommt aus Thailand. Und letztendlich kommen die aus Sumatra, die Fischer. Und ich war stinksauer, weil ich sagte, das sind doch unsere Fische, aber wird in Bangkok oder was weiß ich, wo dann überhaupt produziert, und essen wir in Deutschland und kauft bei Aldi. So, und das war die Methode, was ich denke, dann können wir direkt auf Sumatra direkt nach Hamburg verschicken, und zwar alle, was dazu gehört, an Technologien, können wir alles von Deutschland herholen, und es war und ist möglich. So, das Problem ist nur, vorhin war der Kollege war schon einer, der von der Finanzierung gesprochen hat und so weiter. Was kann GIZ hier helfen? Denn dieses Produkt, Electric Power, ja, mit diesen sagen wir, Maschinen aus China, die, verdammt nochmal, meine Ohren waren so heftig an Drohnen, weil es so laut und stinkig ist, aber im Vergleich zu unseren Maschinen, sagen wir mal, meine Maschinen aus Deutschland, von Torqeedo, ja, was hat der Fischer gesagt, als er die Probe gefahren hat? Er sagt, ich kann meine Frau hier mitnehmen an Boot, weil wir fast wie zu Hause wohnen und dann auch sonst wohin fahren. Ja, und dabei haben wir noch Fisch fangen können und so weiter. So, das war letztendlich, was ich mit Ihnen unterhalten will. Entweder hier oder dass wir uns nochmal treffen. Ich meine, ich hatte schon genug von ihm gehört, aber noch nie die Zeit gehabt, mit Herrn Frank Stickmüller zu treffen. Aber hier, ja, Gott sei Dank, dass wir uns jetzt treffen können. So, das ist in etwa, was ich sagen will.
Okay, nee, sehr gerne. Super, super interessant. Also wir haben immer noch ein aktives Pilotprojekt zu dem Thema RE-Boat, Renewable Energy Powered Boat. Und wir haben tatsächlich 2 Torqeedo-Motoren hier. Also wir schicken gerade einen zurück nach Thailand. Wir haben mit Torqeedo getestet.
Wenn Sie sich drehen, sehen Sie hinter mir, das sind die Maschinen.
Ja, wir haben auch welche da. Also wir haben 3 verschiedene Motoren getestet. Wir haben dazu, Torqeedo ist der Beste. Wir haben auch ein Batteriesystem dazu entwickelt, eigens von der GIZ, was dazu passt, was man tragen kann. Und wir haben eine PV Charging Station entwickelt.
Okay.
Wir können uns mal unterhalten. Also wir sind interessiert, ein Pilotprojekt nach wie vor zu machen. Das ist immer unsere Vorgehensweise, ein Pilotprojekt, Seeing is Believing, Visibility, Stakeholder Engagement. Und später kann man dann auch mal Finanzierung sprechen, wie das möglich wäre. Also wir können uns mal unterhalten. Wir haben dazu noch ein aktives Pilotprojekt, ja.
Ja, ich hab Ihre Nummer schon eben notiert und dann lass uns mal telefonieren vorher, weil es ist schade, ne? Es ist ein verdammt gutes für dieses Land aus Deutschland und ist bis heute nicht aufgegangen, weil ja, die Finanzierung ist nicht da. Dieser Staat, also das Government wollte, aber nichts erreicht, weil eben das Management, damals, ist total durcheinander. Ja, da ist total durcheinander. Ich war sauer, denn wir hatten mit Torqeedo hier eine ganze Menge getan und leider dann Torqeedo aus, ja, jetzt ist ja in Thailand, ja, ist zurück aus Jakarta, weil wir hier nicht weitergekommen sind. Dann haben mich dann von dieser, sag ich mal, große Aufgabe entlastet und dann nach Thailand, sag mal, hin, basiert, sozusagen. Okay. Vielen Dank.
Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak Tambunan, vielen Dank. Ja, die Frage ist auch auf Deutsch. Ja, freue mich sehr. Wir sprechen 3 Sprachen hier, Indonesisch, Deutsch und Englisch. Ja, danke schön. Satu lagi boleh ya dari mahasiswa, Bapak, Ibu. Ini ada mahasiswa ini, boleh Tri Haisa, silahkan pertanyaannya. Masih mute sepertinya, Fitri.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Guten Tag, ich bin Chai from International Relations of UPN Veteran Jakarta. I want to ask some questions regarding the German Center of UPN VJ itself. So, will the German Center provide support for students who are interested in doing internship in various related institutions such as GIZ, ECONIT, etc., or maybe student exchanges in the future? And does student allowed to participate in German Center as some of us did in UPN VJ International Office? Dankeschön.
Oke, dankeschön. Mungkin ini ke Pak Bambang kali ya, Pak ya. Apakah nantinya ada internship gitu student exchange misalnya? Silakan Pak.
Okay, thank you, Fitri. In regard to the internship, I would like to try to contact DAAD, GIZ, ECONIT, also in Kadin maybe, Kadin or other institution in Indonesia, in Jakarta, maybe industrial sector also. So I hope they can welcome for the student UPN or any from any university internship in some institution. So in here, I think there is Pak Stegmuller. I hope you can also support the students from other universities, especially from UPN Jakarta, if they would like to internship in your institution, for example. This is a good chance for we can start for this cooperation between GIZ and German Center for these activities. And I hope also not only in Indonesia, for example, in Germany, we can contact also our mission, for example, in Berlin, our embassy, or in Hamburg Consulate General, and also in Frankfurt Consulate General. It's possible or not, we can try to approach. I hope they can receive the internship from student UPN. And I think last year we tried already. There are some students from some university internship in our Consulate General in Hamburg. And 4 months ago before, I think almost 8 months ago, I think, from UPN or also, what is it, try to internship in Consulate General in Hamburg, and we already agree for that. But suddenly COVID-19 is there, so just cancel for temporary. So Petri, I try to facilitate with the German Center will communicate with the GIZ, SAS, ECONID, or other institution or industry, including Kadin Indonesia. Thank you, Fitri.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Bambang. May I ask a question again? The last one.
Ya, apa itu Fitri?
The student
For the
allowed
last
to
one
participate in
question.
Oh yeah, of course. We already discussed with the committee, German Center UPN, and we discussed with rector, chancellor also about that. So we hope that the student can participate in organizing committee in GIZ. Yeah, so welcome, very welcome, Fitri.
Thank you so much, Pak. Thank you so much, Mbak Cindy.
Welcome.
Oke, thank you, Dankeschön. Baik, tadi saya belum mengabarkan ya kalau mahasiswa yang berani tanya gitu ya in English or always English, vielleicht ya akan ada giveaway gitu ya. Udah kayak YouTube ya, ada hadiah gitu ya, hadiah kecil. Nah, nanti bisa kami hubungi kembali ya. Okay, thank you very much. Actually, there are very many issues that we can discuss here, but unfortunately, time is up. So I have to close this event. Hopefully, this event, especially German Center program, is useful for everyone. I hope this partnership can get closer in the future, and all activities planned by German Center can be realized well. And auf Wiedersehen. Ja, danke schön. See you next time. Hoffentlich bleiben wir immer gesund, irgendwann und irgendwo. I returned this event to MC, please, Andita. Silakan.
Baik, terima kasih banyak kepada moderator, para pembicara, dan semua hadirin yang telah mengikuti acara ini dari awal hingga akhir. Kami harap dengan adanya soft launching German Center ini, kedepannya German Center dapat mencapai tujuan-tujuannya, terutama seperti halnya pada tema acara hari ini, yaitu dapat menjadi mitra pengembangan iptek dan peluang kerjasama yang memukau di kedepannya. Saya juga mohon izin untuk mengingatkan kepada hadirin agar dapat berkenan mengisi daftar hadir yang telah tertera dalam chat Zoom ini. Terima kasih. Baik hadirin yang kami hormati, saat ini kita sudah berada di penghujung acara. Saya Andita Julianti selaku pembawa acara izin undur diri. Apabila ada sikap dan tutur kata yang kurang berkenan, saya mohon maaf. Akhir kata, terima kasih dan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Baik, Profesor.